This is the TheAndresSegovia Show.
What's going on, everyone? It's Andres. Welcome to this stream where I'm going to be talking about all things tech. It's the end of the year, and normally I would produce videos to let you know what my daily tech are. I like usually to break them down from cell phones or smartphones to smart wearables and other type of mobile computing devices. And besides not having any time to do any of that, it's some of the stuff actually shifted in the recent weeks. So I'm like, oh well, it's a good thing I didn't produce any of those videos because even my main carries have changed. So I wanted to take an advantage of this stream, and I purposely came over to the studio to be able to do so, and also to test out some of the lighting I've been messing around with. Just to go over some of the stuff. I even brought one of my tech bags here to parse through it to let you know what's in here. And yes, this is one of those OnePlus bags, and I've never owned a OnePlus product until now, and it's not tech. But I'll tell you why I ended up getting that here in a moment. Well, let me just start off by thanking each and every single one of you that have tuned into my program this year. It's been a year where I've had to shuffle things a lot. Some of the services that I used are no longer around, even though one of them supposedly might be coming back. I'm going to leave that a little vague, but it starts with P and ends with R, and it sounds like parlor. So we'll see what happens with that. I invited one of the officers of that company onto the program to see if they'll talk about what we can expect with respects to the relaunch of this product or this service. But on top of that, there's been other video platforms that have been sunsetted because, well, it's hard to compete in this space. But in the midst of all that, Rumble has actually grown by leaps and bounds, as I expected it would when they signed Steven Crowder to the mix, which is also why I believe there was so much negative attention drawn to him because of the public spat that he had with the Daily Wire. But all that's, for me at least, is history. And what we're looking at now is basically um, free speech versus controlled speech. So YouTube's still there, and the fact that my videos are performing way better and increased interaction on Rumble than they are on YouTube speaks volumes. And I'm streaming this to YouTube. They don't like that I'm mentioning competition here, but hey, I'm not just on one or two platforms. I'm across a bunch of them for the very reason that, hey, Rumble might go down. Before going to record this, what happened was because of the government requirements of censorship, Rumble shut down their services in Brazil. So, if I'm not mistaken, add that to the growing list of countries where Rumble is shutting down services, because I don't think they're in France because they shut down for the very reason that was. And I think Germany has been wanting Rumble to censor too. And of course, this is going to happen to Twitter, formerly or X, formerly known as Twitter, where we're going to see that. Now, I'm not here to talk about the politics or whatever about these tech companies. It just happens to be part of tech. I want to talk about my products and devices that I write here, but I just felt it was necessary to let you know that all those things have affected my channel, my growth, negatively on YouTube, positively on Rumble, which is funny because I complained about censorship on Rumble 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago, actually, when January comes around. But it's been the opposite, and my channels are now verified. The only thing was that when I started on Rumble back then, there was a, you have a profile and you have a channel. If you create a channel, if you don't create a channel, your profile kind of becomes your channel. So similar to how YouTube operates, where you have your individual and you have a brand for a channel, you can separate that, but your followers don't transfer over. So I did create a channel. I closed it, reopened it, closed it, reopened it because I didn't know how all that stuff worked. And honestly, Rumble wasn't very much help back then. And what ended up changing was I didn't know you can hide your profile user. So I have way more followers on my profile user, nearly 100. And they're not the ones that are following my channel. So I reached out and asked, can those followers be transferred over? No, the users have to do it themselves. So if you're a follower of mine on Rumble and you are unknowingly following my profile, I would very much appreciate it if you hit a follow on the channel as well. In fact, my profile user is no longer searchable on the search bar of Rumble. It's only available through the TheAndresSegovia Show channel. And speaking to that, thank you very much, Rumble, for access to Rumble Studio. I've been testing it and I'm loving it. So, for those of you unawares, locals.com, I talked about it before. I'm going to be doing way more live streaming now that there is a way to be able to live stream to locals without having to use a virtual camera. But anyway, that's the long and short of that, I suppose. It's just to say thank you, everyone. Really, whether you liked my content or not, you actually helped put this into view for traffic. So. Uh, Thanks. But hey, if you have enjoyed my content, I would appreciate it if you just like, share, and subscribe whenever you come across something that you do enjoy, because 2024 is going to be a wild year. If you haven't noticed it yet, it's going to be wild. And a lot of it, the battleground is in the tech space. So we'll see how all that plays out. Freedom of speech, freedom of reach, or limit of reach, whatever it might be, it's going to be very contentious. So we'll see how all that goes. So, anyway, I wanted to talk about my daily drivers here. So, among the first things that I wanted to show you was one of the mainstays. It's been 2 years now. I am still rocking the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra in white. I should take the case off. This is a great case. Let me take it off. So I'm still rocking it in white. I actually love this color, and I told myself I'm possibly going to upgrade to a S24 Ultra when it comes out. But if they don't have it in this color, or if the camera um, module is too protruding, I might be turned off by it. But 24 is my favorite number, and it's kind of calling me, because this device itself has had issues since day one, particularly with Bluetooth and computing for some reason. RAM, okay, but sometimes some of the processes that it starts and never finishes, I put up with it for a very long time. Even subsequent software updates and factory resets never did the trick, but well, there it is. Okay, so that's my main business device, my main, um, I guess, communicator. That's what I like to call it. Is the iPhone 15 Pro, not the Max. My wife has the Max, and I actually waited. This is one of the newest additions. I recently upgraded to this thing, and I recently told my wife, like, I regret not doing it earlier, because the big changes and the refinements, especially with the welcoming a USB Type C, have greatly convenienced me more when I'm on the go. And I'm going to show you what I mean about on the go. That's what the tech bag is here to show you all, because man, it's very important to have the right cables when you need them, especially when some of the stuff is running low on juice and you got to recharge them. Yikes! Yeah, I had a very scenario, like the worst case scenario happened to me, and it was a nightmare. And I said, I'm done. And I'm like, you know what? Fine, I'll take the chance. I'll upgrade to the 15 Pro, and I didn't want to. And honestly, it's the user experience is entirely different from my 12 Pro that I've had for nearly 3 years, and that has a lot to do with the refinements under the hood, the communications and moving of files that are just made so much easier by USB Type C. And I guess, I don't know, maybe they opened up a few things in the software to be able to um, work better with non Mac products, because I was able to move my files a lot easier from phone to computer without the aid of iTunes on a computer, or some other Apple product. It worked so well. Like, oh my goodness, one step closer to being able to knock down those walls with the walled garden that is Apple. But that's not going to happen anytime soon. But at least I was able to transfer and move documents and files, and especially media, a lot easier this time around than it was with previous iterations of the iPhone, most notably because of USB Type C. For that, I do thank the European Union. We got something right there. At least we benefited from something right there. They kept holding on to that freaking lightning cable, but not for the iPad. Go figure. So anyway, speaking of iPad, I'm not going to show you an iPad, because that's an iPad, even though I have one that's a few years old, still running like new. Um, I made a new acquisition this year. I did upgrade my Samsung Galaxy S Tab 7 to the 9. Now, some of the accessories are a little weird. They broke up the book cover. It took a little bit of getting used to. So let me just show you the book cover first, because now I think they did that for the 8, if I'm not mistaken, but probably the 9, where it's available in 2 parts. So at first it was a little annoying until I saw that there was this thing called the paper, like a screen. I'm like, okay, what's this all about? Oh, it's to write better with you, a more pen to paper experience when using the stylus, the S Pen. So I'm like, really? So I did do that. So here's the tablet. This is the regular size. So this is just, it's not the plus, it's not the ultra, it's just the smallest model. But the big deal are the two main takeaways for me were this is now running, it now has an AMOLED display. All of them have AMOLED display, no more of this TFT stuff, even though I do like the panel, the LCD panel on my S7. It is very different when you're dealing with AMOLED and everything else you have is AMOLED. It really is jarring to see an LCD and like, it's not the same. But um, it's water resistant. I have been waiting the longest for that. You know how much I baby my tech, mostly because I have children, and one of them is 1.5 years old, and knocks things over or presses buttons and stuff like that, and just ruins processes. But anyway, the point is that they've knocked over so many things. Like, oh my gosh, I'm thinking my tech out of the way. I'm like, one less thing to worry about. No, they could only do that for their laptops. It's a tall order, I'm sure. But hey, maybe Samsung could do it. But still, so they broke up the whole bookcase cover thing, as they call it, and it has like this origami style stand on the back. It's kind of flimsy. The magnets are kind of weak, so it doesn't really hold it all that well. But hey, if you don't like really push on the screen much when it's docked or sitting on your desk, it will hold. But using the stylus, odds are it might fall over. So just FYI. But it's good for entertainment. But then, because they broke it apart, you can keep it on and switch the front cover. So now I can write with my S Pen on a more paper-like pen to paper experience, which I've used, and it's actually really cool. What I don't like about it though is that it gets markings easily. Like it just gets dirty and you got to clean it so often. But other than that, it's kind of meant to be dirtied in a way. So that's cool. But hey, if I don't want to use it anymore, I want to protect the screen. Here's the rest of that book cover. Close it up, and voila. Now, I did find something very interesting. The software updates for this are very slow to roll out, like incredibly slow. My Tab S7 was getting software updates quicker than this, and the S7 is no longer supported. So just so you know that Samsung, you still got to step it up here because it was like 2 months behind in some cases. So I don't know if they were running some issues with the chipset or whatever, but I am happy with this, and I'm happy to report it's not here because it's at home with my S7. Some of the accessories from the S7 technically do work with the Tab S9. Now, it will say, hey, it wasn't made for this device, so you might have some issues. I've had zero issues with the keyboard cover that I got because that one's also in two parts. So I put the keyboard underneath. It does read that, hey, this wasn't made for it, but hey, we'll install the driver and whatever. And I've been using it without a problem. So that's really, really awesome. So I'm going to leave that over here. I didn't have this one inside um, the tech bags. I left it sitting here on my desk. Some of you might have seen it. I did a review on it. This is the Remarkable 2. This is an e-ink paper tablet, e-ink paper display. That's kind of what we looked at. So this is I know it's tan. They have a name for it. But anyways, it's the tan book cover for the e-ink paper display. Stylus that I got with it connects to the side. No battery necessary. And the cool part is it does include replacement tips. So I did a review on this. Check that one out. It's one of my highest viewed videos apparently, but itself it's like super super thin, which is why I keep it in this thing because I know like, dude, this thing is so thin. You sit on it, it's over. But this thing has helped me with my books to be able to read them better without having to print so much paper and just annotate on them so I can know where I got to make the corrections. There is cloud connectivity on this, but this one has proprietary software, so it's not Android. It's not some other form of popular Linux thing. It's its own software made by Remarkable. It's on a 3.9.3, I think. So it's interesting to see what they're going to do with 4.0. But now there's also a keyboard um, attachment you can get for it. I considered it because I have keyboards for just everything else. But if I'm gonna type either on a proper Android tablet, my iPad, which also has the keyboard, or my laptop, which I'm going to show you here in a moment. But that's what it's been like. Like I don't think I necessarily need to get it for this one, unless I just want to work and write at the same time. Maybe I've considered that though because I do a lot of late night reading and writing because that's when I have the fewest interruptions, and my brain is on to focus. So I love this thing. It's one of the best purchases that I've made. And at the end of the stream, I'm going to tell you which were the biggest tech mistakes that I've made, and they were not cheap. So I'm going to let you know a little bit later. But first, to keep going through things. Now, I wanted to show you the Samsung Galaxy. Stupid names, man. So long. Samsung Galaxy Book 2 5G thingy. But that's exactly what I'm using to record this stream. It's a pre-recorded stream that I'm going to be streaming later, thanks to StreamYard that I use to create almost all of my interviews, just because it's seamless. It works better than Zoom, and I can save local files and things like that. And if you're interested in trying out StreamYard for yourself, I will be leaving links in the description down below. It's an affiliate link because I'm a partner with StreamYard, but I'm not pushing it because I'm a partner. I recently became a partner with them, and I've been pushing it since. So some of my friends want to restream. I told them, you guys got to try StreamYard. And they keep adding cool features to it that I love, especially local recordings when you're doing these things, because sometimes the connection drops for whatever reason. But when you have local backups, you can upload the HD files, and then you can just manipulate them afterwards through editing. And it's just a breeze, absolute breeze. But let me try to lift this thing up. So this is the Samsung Galaxy Tab. My goodness, seriously. You know what? I'm going to pull up the settings to read this properly. What is your name? Since I am so confused. Here we go. It's a long name. The Samsung Galaxy Book 2 Pro 360 5G. It's just, that's crazy. But you heard 5G and you did hear 360. So yes, this thing does fold all the way around. It's a big fingerprint magnet. This thing does come with what's that thing called? The stylus on its own inside the box. This is running a Qualcomm chipset, and it has been my go-to for document working and everything. Now I haven't put 5G on this one. Usually I just use the hotspot off my phone, but I could if I want to. That's what's pretty cool. And and it also has a slot for your micro SD card. It could go on the side. It has 3 ports. One of them's supposed to be Thunderbolt. The other one's a USB Type C. So, or 4 ports actually. No, 3 ports. I was right the first time, or I was wrong. I'm right, and it's so thin. This thing's incredibly thin, and yet they could put a headphone jack on it. Now they say they have AKG tuned speakers on this thing, but nothing to write home about. They're not going to replace your headphones. But yeah, this thing has been really cool. Beautiful AMOLED display. I believe it's just full HD, which is fine because this thing it does eat up battery. And if you do get one, or you do have one, you might have noticed this. Don't keep the computer on sleep. That battery dies anyway. It just drains out entirely because I think it has that instant on feature. So it's kind of like always ready to be. I'm ready. But yeah, it kind of ruins the battery life on it. But other than that, the experience, and this is how I'm gonna. I thought about doing a video about this, but I'm just gonna mention it here. The seamless connectivity of the ecosystems. So I have 3 ecosystems. My business ecosystem is all Samsung experience, and I do use DeX. Very important for my Samsung devices to have DeX because I rely on it, especially when I'm working on Windows products, Microsoft Office, and all that. But when they're all seamless Samsung experience, so I have the Samsung Buds Pro 2. I have the laptop, which is the Samsung Windows computer, obviously the S22 Ultra, and then the Tab S9. The connected experiences of being able to just move files, copy, paste, and all this has just been a dream, an absolute dream. The handoff on everything. This is not Phone Link, folks. Phone Link is different when you can connect an Android to a Windows PC or use Intel Unison. You can actually connect an iPhone, also not just an Android, and do some stuff. This is a whole other level. It's something that Apple users are used to, when you can have a Mac with Sidecar with your iPad and you can extend the screen, so to speak. You have your headphones connected to one device, whether it's your iPhone or whatever, you can hand off to the others. Same thing with phone calls. Similar experience here. It's been a pretty awesome connected experience that I've always wanted on the Windows side, and Samsung is the one to bring it. That has been awesome. It's taken a long time to get here with the technology, and for me, because I don't get sponsorships or anything like that. I turn them down because I never want to be beholden to any of them. I like working for myself. But still, it's been an incredible experience, just like I do with Apple, because I do have the Apple Watch. I'm not wearing an Android wearable right now, but the Android wearables I do have are all Samsung. Two out of the three that I have are all Tizen, so that's the older Samsung generations, and they're still running. My Under Armour, um, uh, my goodness, all these names, Active, the Active 2. I use it every single day. When I get home, I take off the Apple Watch. I put that one on. I use it to track my workouts. Not all workouts. I actually use the Apple Watch mostly because it connects with other devices that are smart devices that connect with the Apple Watch, including shoes. So I do use this one more for that. But if I wanted to, I could still use the Under Armour one, or the Under Armour branded Active 2. But on top of that, I use it to track my sleep every single night. I have the Galaxy Watch, which I pair up to the iPhone, so I don't have to use this one all the time when I want to look a little better. The Samsung Watch looks way better. I wish it looked as good as the Huawei, but it still looks really fantastic. And I recently traded my Galaxy, what do they call it, man? The Watch 4. I upgraded it to the Watch 6. It is a major difference in terms of processor and battery life. So I don't have any regrets about it, even though it looks exactly the same. But hey, it was an offer I couldn't refuse from Samsung with the trade, and that's how I was able to get the Buds Pro 2 for free. So Samsung, what's up with you, man? You're just throwing everything, like, you're giving everything away. So anyway, the connected experiences have been wonderful, just like I actually have for Google experiences, which is some smart devices with the Pixel tablet, which I did get and I haven't reviewed. I haven't even showed anybody about this one, but I did get the Pixel tablet. It works exactly as I hoped it would with my ecosystem that I'm building. I'm not going to tell you everything that I have, but let's just say it's not all Google. But what I do have for Google, it works. I still have the Pixel book from way back when. It's still working and it's still getting updates, even though the screen's kind of giving out. But I still have the Pixel Pen. I have the Pixel Buds. So all of them kind of talk to each other. Not as good as the more modern chipsets and stuff, but hey, at least they're there. That's what's pretty awesome. Anyway, back to the tech bag, right? Let me get the tech bag up here. This I got used. I was on Threads. I am on Threads for those of you unaware, and I do use Threads. So if you're interested, because you don't want to be on X for whatever reason or anything else like that, if you're on Threads at TheAndresSegovia, make sure you follow my Instagram though. That's what I use the most. But I was there talking with Michael Fisher because some of you don't know this. I started my YouTube channel with the Tech Corner, talking about tech. And I started because I had a conversation with Michael Fisher, and it's not one that he remembered, but I recently reminded him, like, hey, man, it's been almost 10 years for me since I started my YouTube channel, and I have you to thank. This is back when he was in Pocket Now. And I asked him, I was like, hey, I really wanted to do it. I just don't know how to start, what to do, what to begin with, and whatever. And he just told me, he's like, hey man, you got a webcam and a microphone, and the content, the audience will come. And he was right. That's crossed over 1 million viewers in several years before the censorship took over and shadow banning and all that. But the point is that I did it with his push. And I reminded him of it recently because we recently connected on Threads. And I told him, like, hey, you're not going to remember this. But I told him, that's like, dude, that's just really good to hear. So, yeah, so we started talking more. And I asked him, hey, look, I'm in the market for a tech bag. Now, the one that he pitched was kind of ones that all the techers use. But I'm like, yeah, but the thing is, I already have a premium tech bag. And I don't want to use a premium tech bag for my everyday carries because it'll take way more abuse. That one's a more specialized bag. I think I showed it before, but it's a portrait design, and I do want to highlight some of the stuff that's in there because it's not what I carry in here. Those are not my everyday carries. I need something that will take a little bit more abuse while also being some water resistant. And I kept thinking about the One Plus bags, and I always thought they were pretty awesome. But the older ones, the Explorer ones, they weren't available anymore. So I'm like, okay. But I did find this one, the courier bag. I forget what they call it, like the commuter bag. There we go, the commuter bag. I'm like, well, maybe it'll look better in person. I'm actually really liking this thing. It looked like a bucket bag. It holds the shape, but this is actually, you take the stuff out, it just falls flat. So in here, I can't show you the whole bag, not like this, but I'll probably put some pictures up. But in here, I do carry the S Pen that I need. There's a slot for that thing right in between. So that's the one that's my S Pen Pro. So it works with my Samsung phone, it works with my tablet, it works with my laptop. I'm telling you, the ecosystem is super awesome. But I do have this special Acer made Porsche design branded infrared and Bluetooth mouse. So I do use that with this computer. I pop it open down here. I never mentioned this before with you guys, but this is for the infrared frequency. It's more accurate than the Bluetooth, which is pretty awesome, but it has Bluetooth. So there you go. And put that away. In here in this bag, let's see what else I carry. Fewer, but I still carry adapters. But I don't have to carry lightning cable adapters anymore just for the iPhone. That's what I love about this stuff, and some of them are USB Type C, some of them are Anchor, and I rely upon them to get a lot of stuff done. I carry this thing as a way to sort all my cables. And I'm going to put these little guys in here just to take advantage of the stop. So I have a ton of cables here. Some of them are the same. I just need extra cables just in case I need to connect more than one device. But I also, in case of emergencies, carry a few more things, such as this travel HDMI and Ethernet. It's basically an entire hub for a Windows computer. And so it's USB Type-C. You connect to the old VGA ports, Ethernet cable, full-size HDMI, your USB Type-C, and USB Type-A. And I believe the charger goes right here if you want to charge also, not just drain the battery from it. I have a couple of more adapters here. This one is HDMI cable to USB Type-C in case I need to cast something or connect directly to present something on a bigger monitor without having to need all the other ports. But this one, just in case, I still need the lightning cable to USB Type-C. So you just never know when you're going to need it. But all these other cables and connections, basically I've upgraded almost all of them to USB 3.1 speeds, at least 3.0. But they're all adapters of some sort, some way, because of my external hard drives that I carry around. But it fits nicely in here. In terms of battery power, I recently picked up this from Anchor. This is a giant battery bank with a digital screen power button to be able to have an idea of just how much charge is left. You charge it with the USB Type-C here, or yes, USB Type-C here. But like in and out, you can use Type-A, in and out's here, and then here is just out. So it's at 100% right now. That's what the screen's saying. And this just massive thing, I'm excited to. It looks like a speaker, honestly, but this massive thing is going to get me out of a pinch. I got it because of what happened when I told you that I needed to work remotely. I couldn't go anywhere, and everything ran out of battery. My laptop here died. That's how I knew I didn't want to leave it on sleep. I would shut it down. My iPhone was running low. I had to use the hotspot off this guy, and it was just draining the rest of the battery that I had left, because at the end of the day, it was a very, very bad day. So I'm like, dude, I was caught so unprepared. That really sucked. So I needed to get better at that. Now, here's something I haven't used yet, but it's going to be more for my content creation. It's still in some plastic. So this is an adapter that will work with the iPhone and the Samsung devices. This is a lapel mic, but with I don't think it's Bluetooth frequency, because Bluetooth has a lag on it. But this is for interviews or recordings that I would do on site that will connect directly. The receiver connects to USB Type-C to either device. At the bottom, this is from Hollyland. And I haven't put it through its paces yet, but it is one of my carries, including this guy, which is inspired by the Nokia Lumia 1020. If you guys have seen that one, we're talking about Windows Phone days here, folks. This is a camera grip. This is forget the names. The name's right on the side, actually. Shift Cam. This is the Shift Cam Pro, and I actually shown this on a previous stream when I got it, and I had some difficulty even though the device was paired. Now I used that one with the iPhone 12 Pro. So this is the 15, and it'll connect like so, but it's not paired, so I can't show you. The point is, with Bluetooth connectivity, you'll be able to just be taking pictures. It does have a tripod stand down here, so you'll be able to just set it up and use it on the go. The downside is, and many reviewers say the same, for some reason it just doesn't always connect. I noticed that it somehow works better with Android. So it's It's not on my naughty list of tech devices yet because it's still, it's worked sometimes. But if it keeps this up, I will definitely be doing a full review of this thing. And so far, my experiences are middling, and this thing is not a cheap product, so it's pretty disappointing. But I can't use a Lumia 1020 anymore because of the services that don't work on it. So that's what sucks. Anyway, let me start putting some of these things away as I'm covering a few things here. Actually, you know what? Let me just do this side. My Kindle, the paper light, the one with the lighted background, and this is supposed to be water resistant too. So this is one of the later generations of the Kindle. Now I prefer a paper book, paperback, hardcover, printed version, just like my books, including comic books, and the creme de la creme. This is, I forget what they call them, but this is The Long Halloween. This is my favorite Batman comic by Jeff Loeb, colored artwork by Tim Sale, rest in peace. But this thing is, no, what is it called? The Ultimate Edition? I had the Ultimate Edition for the Dark Knight Rises, and no, the Dark Knight Rises, the Dark Knight Returns. Dark Knight Returns is what the Dark Knight Rises is based on. There was one more though. Hush, that one. This one I couldn't let go. But every fan that was buying off, he's like, "Do you have this one?" Yeah, but go get your own. But I do read on this, and in fact, right now I just picked up Spy X Family. I hate picking up something that is not finished yet, but if I live long enough, hopefully the story will get somewhere. But so far, I'm enjoying the slice of life adventures because it reminds me of my experiences early on getting married and becoming a father. So that's one, and I watch it with the family. You just have to cover their eyes sometimes when the action gets going. But other than that, it's an entertaining show. Check it out, Spy X Family. This is not supposed to be a plug-in for them. So I carry these kind of external hard drives. These Seagate has all these names that are so convoluted and confusing. This is supposed to be like the one touch of the slim products because you get the slim port. It's actually a little bigger than this. It'll be as big as this Game Watch. Yes, this is a mock-up of the Game Watch. I've actually done a video on this. You can check it out. I carry it. I rarely used it, but it's nice to have because you don't get bored of those games. So this is the one of the different generations of the Seagate external hard drives. So this new one is smaller. This one uses USB Type C. Probably can't tell. This one uses the older ports. That's like some weird USB hybrid. So yeah, it has an older version. Now these are my Samsung Buds 2 Pro. I do carry the Beats Pro that I don't have it in this bag because I didn't bring it with me for the studio. But the point is that these are basically a lot of my everyday carries because I have not been caught off guard like that one time. I was carrying my stuff with me in my tech bag, unprepared apparently because nothing had juice in it. My cables were all wrong. I did not have enough of the proper cables to charge more than one device at a time at a plug-in. I was trying to route everything through the laptop, which is not a good idea because it's just not enough power source out to charge on the devices. So I'm like, this will not happen to me again. And so far, it hasn't. So that's why I did it. I do have another tech bag. I mentioned it. It's a Porsche design bag. That one is considerably more uh, thorough with their pouches. This is more like just a casual thing. And so far, actually, you know what? I gotta take one of these things off. There's a no, it's fine. And I'll put the rest of it away afterwards. But yeah, that's a lot of my tech stuff here. And there is one more smartphone that I actually use that I don't use with a SIM card. This is the Microsoft Surface Duo. Believe it or not, I still use it because I can make calls over the internet. So I use Verizon One Talk. So I actually replaced my office desk phone with this because like I don't need this massive thing here, and this has more than enough to carry the burden. It's actually really cool, giving it more life, especially since I use everything Microsoft and it just works fine. And with Phone Link now, even better than when it first released, better supported. Not quite there like with Samsung, but it's there. I'm able to work my computer. That's why I'm like, I'm giving you more life, even though you're technically discontinued with your support, end of life stuff. But it works just fine. I don't know if I show you this stuff. Let me show you this. I haven't found a space for it properly on the studio yet. This is my collection of this is not a cell phone. Smartphones. These are all Blackberries. This is the Q10, Porsche Q10, the Porsche 90. I don't remember what it says. Like, oh, there it is. 9983. The P9983. Z10 or Z10 to our Canadian brethren in the north. The classic. Very classic. Oh my goodness, you're beautiful. Z30 or Z30 for our Canadian neighbors to the north. And the key one, which is running Oreo 8.1. And I still don't know how I got it to work. But, well, you can check out that video if you're still interested. This one over here is the V10. Still looks really good, but it's one of those that had like that motherboard chipset failure, so it just won't pick up a charge anymore. It's done for. This is a now dead Samsung Galaxy S Note 9. This one here is also a water damaged, unfortunately, and ultimately cracked display of the HTC 10. I didn't do it. My favorite Android of all, still, and it still works, and it's running Lineage OS on Verizon. This is the HTC One M8, or the HTC M8, that's what I call it. And to join its ranks are in two colors, the HTC 8X. So this is a Windows phone that I still use as a Zune in red, because this has a very powerful jack, and they still work. They only have 16 gigabytes apiece. And I did have VLC players installed on this before they were discontinued, so I can run much higher quality music like FLAC files on this that the built-in music player will not play. But this is an RGB light that I haven't fully utilized just yet. But other than that, I guess I covered a lot here in this stream, just trying to go over so many different things. Now that I'm using the iPhone 15 Pro, I'm actually taking advantage of the latest updates to now use my 12 Pro as my webcam of choice. And I actually tested it with Rumble Studio now that I have access to it. Just do a test stream. And like I did that in low light. I'm like, oh my goodness, it looks so good. I just did it on a whim. So I might be using that more often when I set it all up with my Mac stuff. But I had an interruption. Sorry about that. So my biggest tech mistakes, I don't have them on me to show you. But let me start off with probably the worst one. The Porsche design truly wireless headphones. I'm talking about the luxury version, not the sport one. That means it's even more expensive than that, even though I didn't pay that. I wish I could show you right now, if I had it, the instructional manual that is literally just pictures. No explanation of anything, and no telling where to get warranty support, because I did reach out to Porsche Design. I needed some help. Bluetooth, there's no way to get that thing activated. So it took me forever to finally get it working. And when my Samsung finally read that on the device, it said it only worked with an app. I'm like, an app? What the hell? What app? So when I paired it to my iPhone 12 Pro, it did work with. It only worked through Bluetooth Low Energy. I'm like, what? And eventually I was able to get the thing paired, and I didn't even know what I did. I'm like, what did I change other than just fully charge the device, open the slot so they could activate the connectivity, and then connect to my phone? Now, the worst part was that the magnets inside are terrible because they don't always house the. I'm going to do a full review, aren't I? It doesn't always house. You know what? I'm going to clip this out as its own review with overlay so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So stay tuned for January when I'm going to rant about this thing with pictures and stuff. But if you ever use the Pixel Buds, if you put them into the charging case and you close it, sometimes it won't disconnect Bluetooth to the phone. But the thing is, they're still charging, so that means they are supposed to be disconnected, but it won't always disconnect from the phone for some reason. It was a flaw with the design. That's not the case with these Porsche design headphones. The problem is that one bud doesn't charge and the other one does. So when I put them on, then this one dies out in like 5 minutes tops because it said it only charged just a little bit. I'm like, what the heck? So that one I tried to get working for months, and after being ignored everywhere I was trying to with Porsche design and just being out of the warranty or exchange window for the limited warranty, I'm like, this, it's premium quality and I am angry about it. It's such a waste, and I'm so glad they pulled that listing because a lot of people went, "Hey, I wanted to buy it, but it's no longer available." You dodged the bullet. I didn't, but at least I didn't pay full price for that junk. So yeah, I'm pissed about it. It was one of the worst tech investments that I've made. I won't say the worst because at least one of them works. So that's that. And like, well, how do you know you're putting it in the right slot? Believe me, it says left and right, and it's even though it's really hard to read them on these things, it does say left and right. And even though I maneuver it, jiggle it, whatever, it just doesn't always connect to the magnets to charge. So pathetic, so pathetic. But the biggest waste was this. It's called Native. It's a Native. The brand's Native, and actually, I'm gonna pull it up here on Amazon. That's where I bought it. Because I threw it away. I got so fed up with this thing, I threw it away. It's one of the nicest looking MagSafe wireless chargers that I've ever seen. I didn't buy it because it looked the nicest. I did my due diligence in reviewing and checking a lot of the reviews. This one's called the Native Union 2-in-1 um, magnetic wireless charger. I bought this at the end of 2022. As of right now, it has 91 reviews with 3.7 stars. When I got it, it was at least 4 out of 5 or 4.2 out of 5, but it keeps going down. I really regret this purchase. Let me see. There you go. You can get an idea like right there. So we're able to charge the phone on the top thing that will hold it. Then the base would wirelessly charge your AirPods. I don't have AirPods, so it made no difference to me. Let me see, angle differently there. Here's the thing, though. More people were complaining about the discoloring thing on the pad because it was white. I'm like, that's the least of my concerns, as long as it worked. It didn't work. So it doesn't come with the wall charger. So what the hell's the point? You had to get it yourself, and it wasn't exactly telling you what kind of wall charger to get. You had to be very specific. It had to be a 30-watt charger, and yeah, I still got a 30-watt charger, and it still didn't work. It's like, oh my goodness! And even though it's USB Type C, sometimes you still have to, turn it upside down or right side up in some cases with some products. But this one's like, whatever. The point is, that's the worst. It was over $100 when I got it, and I just threw it away eventually. Like recently, threw it away. I was like, I don't want to look at it anymore. I'm done with this thing. So I threw it away. And let's see what else. What else was it for tech? Well, I'm already telling you that this shift cam is middling. So let's hope this thing still, it lives up and is able to work. But in terms of my top 3 tech that I regret in the past year, even though I bought that native thing back in October last year, it's still within reason, I'd say. That one's number 1. Number 2 are the Porsche design headphones. Number 3, if it's not the shift cam, this is going to sound terrible. I don't think any of you saw me with my Pixel Fold just now. I do use the Pixel phone. I just don't use it to its potential. I might have jumped the gun on that one a little bit. Yeah. But at least when I got it, I didn't just get that. I got a bunch of other tech with it. So it was like only spending $1,000 on it. But it's a very expensive phone. If I just got on the phone, I would be upset and say it was one of the worst buys of the year. But it's not. I have some issues with it. I do have the Pixel Care service with it. So I'm not going to make a claim until I have to. I actually did a video on that. If you haven't seen that, I recommend you check that out. Because if you're a Pixel Fold user, let me know if you experienced that problem too. Because it seems to be software where the phone just wipes itself entirely. It gets stuck in a boot loop and then it just wipes itself entirely. No chance for a backup. I lost all my data, like just like that. So I couldn't rely on it as my two device carrier, which is an iPhone and the Samsung. So Michael Fisher, you're not the only Captain Two phones. I've been using this since the the Nextel days. Man, that was a long time ago. And eventually BlackBerry. But I've used two phones for the longest time, probably about 15 years, give or take, for the businesses that I run. But yeah, as I wrap up, thank you so much, everyone, once again. This year was been, like I said, it's been awesome. I had a second limited edition roast, not available for purchase anymore, but stay tuned. Something's probably in the works. Based on the preliminary reports, I'm excited about what's to come. Ranger Candy Coffee Company was the first affiliate that I made connections with. I'm officially a brand ambassador for them, and they know. And I don't just drink their coffee, but it is my coffee of choice because I prefer to make my own coffee, and it's Ranger Candy all the way. But I also support local. So a local coffee roaster unfortunately moved from the city all the way to Minnesota, of all places. Like, wow, you left SoCal for Minnesota. Um, that's a big deal. But not the only ones that I support, but it is my go-to coffee. And if you so want to, you can definitely go to rangercandycoffeecompany.com. Use discount code TheAndresSegovia. You save on shipping, and it helps yours truly keep the lights on. Just like if you go to the goat farm, or if you happen to like StreamYard and you use my link down below, or any stuff that I have for sale on Amazon, which any of the tech that you have seen, most of that stuff is on my Amazon store because what I use. I'm not sponsored by any tech company. I'm not sponsored by, I'm not sponsored by anybody. I only just have brand partnerships, you could say, but no one's paying me to just to advertise them. I do it whenever I want. I don't do an ad read. I'm just telling you, like, hey, go check it out. I've written books, 3 so far, of my romantic comedy series, and then one based on the original version of what this show used to be. And I'm working on 2 books right now to hopefully be released over the next 18 months. So there's always a lot going on, and man, believe me, this is one of the best investments that I made to save my eyes and save paper on how much editing that I got to do when I can't afford to have a hire professional revisionist to go through hundreds and hundreds of pages of manuscripts. But hey, I do it because there are those of you that truly enjoy uh, my my content and find some of my stuff edifying. Thank you very much. And locals, where I get way more personal. When it comes to the socials, I'm pretty much the same across everything except Instagram, where I give you more behind the scenes stuff on my stories because I don't know, it became a thing. Instagram's one of my oldest social medias before Facebook bought them, before Facebook came Meta, and I know I just kept to it. So if you want to see a lot more like the daily life of Andresegovia, and just random tidbits or my 2 cents on certain issues, that would be Instagram. And even though they censor me, I'm still there until they kick me out. They do shadow ban my live streams for some reason. I don't know what I did. They shadow ban those live streams. But hey, I'm gonna try live streaming now that I have access to the Instagram Live Producer Studio too. So stay tuned for that. But anyway, follow me across the socials at TheAndresSegovia across everything. Pick up a book if you can. I love The Expanse. Whoops, wrong side. This side. No, this side. Sorry, I'm looking at the opposite way on the monitor there. So The Expanse here. I'm probably going to reread this whole thing again. It was amazing. The show did do it justice for as much as it could. Check that out. But I'll pick up one of my books. Finding Love but Not Really, available on Amazon. Follow up to that is there, back again. And the newest release, which I pulled because being re-released as a deluxe expanded edition, is called I Know Where I Am. I've Been Lost Here Before. So I'm excited for that to come out here in the next few days. But it's still time. So I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, season's greetings, happy holidays, and a happy new year. There's still one more episode of the show coming up. So this is not one of those that makes the podcast. So if you make sure you're subscribed wherever you're watching to make sure you don't miss out on an episode, hit the notification bell so you know when it's coming up. And I intend to do a lot more live streams that are actually live in the new year to engage more with my audience because that's what I love to do. I'm Andres Segovia. Thank you so much for joining me this year. Here's to a better prosperous, safe 2024. See you next one.